Hey everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're going to be doing the Dreamworks Theory of Everything, which apparently is the Mort Theory Part 2. Honestly, the thumbnail kept changing, and at this point I'm not too sure if this is still the Mort Theory Part 2. Um, well, I wasn't sure to begin with. It took me a while just to find it, though. But yeah, here we are. I only remember because I only found it because I remembered it being mentioned that it's gonna be doing the DreamWorks talk. We'll talk about DreamWorks movies. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So I hope you all enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. And yeah, if there's any videos you'd like to recommend that I should react to, comment section below. I'll react to it as soon as possible. And the link to this video is going to be down in the description below. So be sure to give the theorizers some love and support for the video they made. Now with this all said, let's get right on into this video, shall we?
Hello, I'm the Theorizer. This video is a compilation video of basically parts 7 to like 20 of my giant theory on Mort. Yes, Mort from Madagascar the lemur. You may have recently seen the previous compilation, which is just parts 1 to 6. It was that 2-hour-long video that went around a while ago. And this video is a whole series of different Dreamworks theories on different Dreamworks movies that I've made from across the years of my channel that ultimately, at the very end of this video, all connect together in with the Mort theory. You can skip around this video if you so desire, but this is all of the parts kind of spliced and compiled and rearranged a bit together, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
You have timestamps, of course, and everything comes together at the end. But if you really want to see where it comes together, that of course is in the next compilation, which I am releasing shortly after this one. And that is where it gets truly good and really focuses more on Mort again. In the meantime, enjoy.
The Shrek series is my favorite DreamWorks franchise, and if you've seen some of my best and most plausible theories, you'll be eager to see this.
Wow, you can actually hear the audio change compared to, like, from before and then. Before and now. Yeah. Huh.
I have a small little Shrek theory I made months ago, which stated that the fairy godmother is behind more than we're led to believe in the film. So I've constructed a timeline of events to contain a massive conspiracy that predates Shrek 1 and extends past the final film, Shrek 4. First, I'll need to dig out some of the buried evidence and construct evidence with evidence to use as evidence in my timeline. Evidence-ception.
Fair enough.
There will be spoilers through Shreks 1 through 4, so hopefully you've seen them all. If not, watching only the first 2 films will allow you to understand this as well. As you may remember, the secret plot of Shrek 2 is basically a conspiracy all in itself. It's obvious in Shrek 2 that the fairy godmother is all about her son marrying Fiona. It's also obvious that there's a master plan going on. So, I've sifted through the evidence to put this master plan into a timeline. If you're perceptive or even just attentive, you'll easily realize what part of the plan is. At the end of the film, King Harold is hit with magic and turns into a frog. At first, you're confused at what this means, but then you realize that it's his true form, and that part of the master plan was that the fairy godmother had years ago turned Harold from a frog into a human. And when you realize this, it blows your mind. He wanted to become a human so that he could marry a princess. Sound familiar? Although, as the movie establishes, the godmother took this opportunity to strike up a deal. As the movie hints towards, if she turned him into a human, her son would marry his future daughter. And that's why Charming is so obsessed with Fiona. But when you think about it, she only wanted her son to marry into royalty so she could become all-powerful over far, far away. Okay, so that's been established. Although there is more evidence that is very secret and hidden that I have found that
Okay.
states there is more to the plan. Do you remember what Fiona's curse was? She says when she was a little girl, a witch cast a spell on her. This spell transformed her into an ogre every night until she kissed her true love, at which point she would take true love's form. But what always got to me was why this witch cast a spell on Fiona. What exactly did Fiona do to deserve this? And finally, something clicked. If the fairy godmother wanted her son to marry Fiona, it would appear as forcing and rushed. So, to avoid suspicion from the public and the queen, she created the elaborate plan of locking Fiona away in a tower and, yes, casting this spell on Fiona. She was the witch. As I
Oh.
just said, this elaborate plan is done to avoid public suspicion and the suspicion from the queen, who has no idea of the true plans. So if it's true that the fairy godmother cast a spell on Harold's firstborn and locked her away in a tower,
You know, actually thinking about that right now, that actually makes a lot of sense. And thinking about it like that, there is the case scenario of yeah, yeah, with Fiona's situation back then, if the prince actually came and tried to woo Fiona, it would make sense that the fairy godmother would be the one to have caused it, to ensure that uh, everything in her plan falls together. Like, there was no telling, no for sure way to know uh, how Fiona would react and all that. So, yeah, that makes sense in all honesty.
then it fits perfectly into place. It was her son who was expected to save Fiona. Why is this curse locked with true love's kiss? Charming is supposed to kiss her. And he was also expected to slip easily into the dragon's keep, unlike all the other knights who died trying. Honestly, what makes him so different from them? Well, he's the son of the puppet master. Okay, we've discovered what the fairy godmother does in this movie. Although, when investigating this crazy plan, I discovered more than ever. You might not believe this, but Queen Lillian was the one who introduced Shrek to Fiona. It's crazy, but plausible. Let me explain. Queen
Hmm.
Lillian did not know the master plan, correct? Good. Now, do you remember in Shrek 1, the magic mirror? Yes, well, he was the one who introduced Fiona to Lord Farquaad. He had the dating game he played with Lord Farquaad, and the candidates for Lord Farquaad to date were Snow White, Cinderella, and Fiona. Surprise, surprise, Farquaad chooses Fiona. We don't know where this mirror came from. Farquaad's knights just say that they found it. But if you remember the classic tale of Snow White, then you'll remember that the magic mirror came from the evil queen. And
Oh,
guess
so
what?
that's like
We
referencing that.
see that the evil queen and Snow White both live in the kingdom of Far, Far Away. You may be asking, what am I going to do with this evidence? Why, I'm going to construct a second conspiracy. Fiona was a private princess only for Charming, so why is this mirror allowed to advertise her? If this mirror came from Far, Far Away, then get this. Queen Lillian stuck her daughter's advertisement in the mirror and sent it to Dudelock, a kingdom full of knights who could save her daughter. After all, she had no idea of the true master plan and just wanted her daughter to be saved. It's an interesting thought, but let's see how the timeline supports it. So that's all the evidence for a timeline. Now here it is visualized. A frog asked a fairy godmother if he could become a prince and marry the love of his life, and in return, his firstborn child would be sent into a believable and elaborate plan
Hmm.
to allow this godmother control of his future kingdom. The plan was set into action. The godmother cast a spell on his firstborn, making her an ogre every night. She also seemingly spawned a prince and called him son. Fiona finally is locked away in the tower to await the spawn of Mrs. Psycho. The Queen of Far Far Hollywood is
Okay.
unbeknownst to the plan and desperate for her daughter gets involved in multiple mini-schemes, one of which involves putting her daughter's advertisement into a magical mirror and shipping it off to a kingdom full of knights to save her. This puts a massive kink in the heinous plan, and Shrek ends up being dragged in. He saves her, marries her, and when Charming arrives to save her, he has nothing to save but, and I quote, a gender-confused wolf. Devastated that the Queen metaphorically and unwittingly put a compound fracture in his so-called mother's plan, he alters his plan, but the all-too-bubbly psychopath dies in a stupid fashion, leaving him alone to reveal his true plans and dominate the kingdom with full-on delusion inherited from you-know-who. He ends up dying. The end. And that seems to wrap up Dreamworks' biggest conspiracy. But seriously, pretty good conspiracy timeline. It basically explains the true rise and fall of the not-so-charmings.
Huh. We're already done. Wow. That's actually a bit surprising, in all honesty. I was kind of expecting something else. I guess not. Huh. That's weird. I really was expecting something else, in all honesty. Well, I guess that's it, really. Uh, I hope you all enjoyed this part. It's gonna be like before. It's going to be like a major compilation of everything, like put into parts. So hope you all enjoy, and I'll see y'all next time. Hope you just be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me what your thoughts on this. Honestly, it sounds convincing enough, and it does sound like it would be something the fairy godmother would do. But again, that's my own personal bias. But yeah, I can actually see it happening. So yeah. Anyway, with this all said, hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.